got a D-Stacks beat?
Yeah, I got a D-Stacks beat. Listen to the beat, y'all. Come on, D-Stacks, bring it in. Hey, 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 hey. Woo! Queens on a roll. Ooh, queens on a roll. Powerful queens on a roll. Beautiful queens, queens, queens on a roll. We're moving, we're grooving, we're jamming, we're slamming. Queens on a roll. We're moving, we're grooving, we're jamming, we're slamming. Queens, queens, queens on a roll. She's educated and inspiring everyone that has challenges. Queens, queens, queens on a roll. She's educated and inspiring everyone and having fun. She's queens on a roll. Woo, queens on a roll. Ooh, queen on a roll. Powerful queens on a roll. Beautiful queens on a roll. Come roll with us. Ooh, come roll with us. Come roll with us. Ooh, come roll with us. Ooh, queen on a roll. Ooh, queen on a roll. Ooh, queen.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Queens on the Road podcast. This is Latavia here, and guess who I have back with me? One of my favorite guests, Lewis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Lewis? How you doing today?
Pretty good, can't complain. I'm ready to get this started.
All right, so we're doing another news from the past month segment. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, but before we get into it, I have a new segment for you guys. It's called Roll Call. So, Roll Call is all about shining a light on the people that donated on my Patreon account. So here we go.
It's time for roll call.
I would like to thank Shantae Usman and Eric Green for their donations. And guys, please keep it coming. Please keep it up. Thank you so very much for supporting the podcast. All right, Lewis, are you ready to roll?
I am ready.
All right, let's roll.
You got a D-Stacks beat?
Okay guys, I am proud to announce that Netflix is backing us up. Let's go! By us, I mean the disability community. They are partnering with a nonprofit called Respectability, and they are an organization that gives people with disabilities who are writers, crew members, and directors a chance to work with big film companies such as, DreamWorks, Paramount, and many others. They are starting this initiative called the Children's Content Lab for Disabled TV Creators. This is an effort to train writers, animators, and creative executives who have disabilities to work on television shows aimed at preschoolers and children. So if you have a creative mind and you want to produce or make content for little kids, I suggest you guys apply.
Yes, and you guys didn't think I left you out on that information now, did you? You can apply at www.respectability.org/lab/kids-tv/4. Check it out, guys. I think it's a great opportunity for aspiring directors, crew members out there who are ably different. So definitely check it out.
And more good news is that Netflix is funding the entire project and the event.
Yes!
It will be held in New York City.
And I think it's on Zoom, right?
Yes. October 17 on Zoom.
Yup, definitely. So please go check it out. I think it's a great opportunity. And big ups to Netflix for doing that for us. I think it's a great idea.
Yes, thank you, Netflix. I also have a beautiful story about a girl named Julia. She is an able-bodied person. She became friends with a woman named Time who had cerebral palsy when they were just children. They met at Cerebral Palsy of Virginia, which is a nonprofit aimed at helping people with different abilities lead happy and productive lives. So when Julia was 6, she first volunteered as a peer buddy. At that time, Time was 10. You see what I did there?
That was really good. Clever.
And she was attending her first summer camp. So ever since then, they have been friends for 15 years. And Julia has been working as her caregiver for only 2 days when it progressed to full-time last summer. But make no mistake, Time was living her best life before Julia came into her life. She used to go water skiing, tubing, hang gliding, amongst other things, and now they are living their best lives together, even though Time needs 24-hour care. I don't know many people like Julia that would pretty much give up their life to be a 24-hour aid to their best friend.
I don't know either. Like, I have friends when we go out, they wouldn't mind helping me, when I need help. But that is a lot to ask of your friend to stay there with me, help me out. Cause she also uses an AAC device. So she talks through her AAC device. So she basically needs help 24/7.
That is, wow, that's amazing. I commend Julia very, very much.
Right? That is such a great friend.
She's a very generous, very humble person. That's really amazing.
It definitely is. And guess what, Luke? They run marathons together now.
Wow.
So Julia does the running, obviously, and she pushes Time in her chair.
The whole marathon.
Wow.
If that isn't dedication, I don't know what is.
I don't know either, but I definitely commend that friendship. And that was a 15-year friendship.
That's amazing.
I can't imagine that. Although I can, because we've been friends for how long now? 10 plus years. So
too long, guys. Too long.
Excuse me? I have been a great friend, okay? That's great.
It is.
And I imagine she doesn't have any issues with it at all. It's just like living with your best friend as a roommate.
She's a great, great friend.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, so the next story up, guys, is a really, really good one. It's about Six Flags, and they're making efforts to make their parks more inclusive. So, in the US and in Mexico, they have become certified autism centers. Way to go, Six Flags! So they basically have designated sensory-friendly spaces where children with autism can come and get a reprieve from all the sensory feelings and just engage in that way. So that's really great.
That's amazing.
But then, Louis, they also have specialized harness for people with physical disabilities to ride.
Wow, I definitely need to see that.
That's definitely great. But guess what? It took about 5 years and cost over $1 million to develop.
To develop the harness?
Yes, to develop the harness.
What? Why it take so long and so much money for a harness?
Well, like everything, guess how it came about?
How?
They had a lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a group of people banded together and sued Six Flags and said, you know what? You don't include us in any of the rides. We can't ride. This is unfair. So, since they got sued, they decided to make efforts to become more inclusive, which is great. I just hate that it always comes out of a lawsuit.
Exactly, and it takes too long. These things should have already been implemented years ago.
Definitely. I definitely agree. So, the harness will make it possible for people who are missing limbs or fingers and those who can't fit in a traditional harness to brace themselves in the same way as others to be safely strapped in for rides. So that is great, Six Flags. I am so happy about that. And you know what? Other amusement parks are actually following their lead. So like SeaWorld and Legoland are doing it as well, and sporting events. But Six Flags did say they're going above and beyond the demands of the lawsuit, because according to them, the ADA doesn't require any amusement parks to create specialized technology like the harnesses to make rides accessible. So it's time for a fun fact, guys. You ready? Here we go.
It's fun fact time.
So according to the ADA, all amusement parks need to do is make a path to get to the ride and have one accessible seat on the ride where you have to transfer out of your chair and get in the specialized seat to ride on the ride.
Come on, ADA. One seat? One seat? Are you kidding me?
One seat. I think that is ridiculous.
So say you're a group of 5 in wheelchairs. You have to go one at a time on that ride.
Yes, definitely one at a time. It is sad. This is why I say all the time, we need to revise the ADA to come up in the 21st century.
Definitely.
That is not okay. It needs to happen now.
Make a path to the ride and have only one accessible seat.
And one seat where you have to transfer out of. How many of us can really transfer that well to get into the seat?
And usually they're like very, very low compared to the wheelchairs.
Exactly. So it makes it even harder to transfer. I mean, it's crazy. We have to really do better. So, Lou, I know you went to Six Flags, like, what, was it last week?
Weekend, yeah.
Last weekend. Did you see any of those changes there?
I honestly did not see any handicap or accessible seat. So,
you didn't?
No, I didn't at all. Maybe it was because I wasn't looking for them. Maybe they are them, but I didn't see it.
Would you say they're way more inclusive now than what they used to be, or other amusement parks?
They are. I mean, there's some amusement parks such as Playland that they only let you go on like 4 or 5 rides. But Six Flags, they let you go on a lot more rides. And I found it very inclusive, and they were very nice to me. So yeah, I like Six Flags.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see like what the harness looks like.
Yeah, definitely. And I would hope that it's more than just one, because there's definitely more than one person in a wheelchair at that park at any given time.
I definitely agree. And even though I'm proud of Six Flags for doing what they're doing and saying that they're going above and beyond the lawsuit, I kind of also feel like if you guys want to make things inclusive for us, let's try not to make it come out of a lawsuit. Executives just need to sit down and think. Like, ably different people want to enjoy the same things as everyone else. How can we make them have that same experience?
Exactly. Ask yourselves, who are we leaving out?
Exactly. And don't say, well, the ADA doesn't require us to do it, so now we're going above and beyond the call of duty. A lawsuit had to make you go above and beyond the call of duty, not because you felt it was necessary. And we really need to change the ADA, because if that's what's going to back us and give us support to say, hey, we need to be inclusive, then the requirements shouldn't be so loose. Incorporate more technology in everything.
I definitely agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
You got a D-Stacks beat?
Alright, so the next story, guys, is a bit of a doozy. So I'm gonna need you to buckle up and get ready for it.
Buckle up and get ready.
So, in Columbia, South Carolina, a deputy used a stun gun 17 times on a teen with autism. Yes, that's right. You heard me. 17 times on a teen with autism.
I guess the first 5 times wasn't enough.
I guess so. So listen to this. Deputy James William Trotter stunned Aaron Vasquez, who was a young man with autism, and he is nonverbal. He was 17 years old at the time, and the incident happened when Aaron's family reported him missing on August 30th, and a Good Samaritan saw Aaron and called 911. The caller informed them that he interacted with Aaron, and Aaron wasn't able to speak, and it seemed like something was wrong with him because he was wearing his pajamas backwards. He was also concerned that he was walking on the wrong side of the street. However, when the deputy encountered him, he stated that Aaron did not respond to him calling his name, and Aaron pushed him. So Deputy Trotter stunned him with a stun gun 17 times for about 5 minutes. That is crazy.
That is wild. Why the excessive force?
I have no idea. But to add insult to injury, Deputy Trotter told the other officers that were on scene that Aaron appeared to be drunk. Can you believe it, Lewis?
Wow, that is crazy.
I know, that is definitely crazy. I say it all the time. Officers need to have training, or if not, do not send cops out to deal with a person that may have a disability, who is nonverbal, or may have mental health issues. At that point, you need to send out counselors.
Yeah, somebody who's trained and can be on the field at that time.
Right? Or social worker, or speech therapist. Somebody else besides the officer, because that was just excessive force. And trust me, that was so traumatic for Aaron.
Exactly, I agree. There's no reason that just because of a push, he's gonna get stunned 17 times. Like, what happened to the first 5? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Why did you need any at all? Like, I'm pretty sure in the 911 call, the 911 operator said he was nonverbal at least, or wasn't responding. So when you called his name and you realized that he wasn't responding, didn't I tell you something like, oh, he's not responding because the caller did say he couldn't speak to him either? Let me take a different approach.
Exactly. Yeah, and the caller even told the 911 dispatch that they tried to interact with him, but he wasn't able to speak.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But you'll be glad to know that he is coming up on charges for second-degree assault and battery and misconduct.
Good. He got what he deserved.
Yes, and he was fired from the force, which needed to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot of these police officers these days need to be held accountable
for their action. Or, like I said, have training to know how to deal with certain situations, and then maybe be able to call a counselor, a speech therapist, a social worker, anything else but this, because this was very traumatic. Alright guys, so we're definitely not gonna leave on that sour note.
Yes, we need a more uplifting piece of news.
See, this is why I say Lewis is always the yin to my yang, because he's coming in with the uplifting news.
Yes, so travelers who are wheelchair bound, get ready to travel with your wheelchairs on airplanes. So according to the U.S. Department of Transportation, they are working towards requiring airlines to accommodate travelers in their wheelchairs, which are customized to meet their specific needs. So I think that's great news. I don't know exactly what that would look like, so I'm ready to see how that turns out.
So what are they saying? Are they saying like they'll be able to like buckle you down in your chair?
I assume so. They haven't exactly figured it out yet, but over the next year there will be additional testing that is needed to ensure the safety of secured wheelchairs. So I'm excited to see what exactly that looks like, because Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is backing it up. He says, no other form of transportation like trains, buses, or boats forces you to give up your mobility device when you board. The same ought to be true for airlines.
All right, Pete Buttigieg. I'm feeling that. Yeah. I am definitely feeling that. And, you know, my friend Jess was on last week, and she was talking about her experience with Delta Airlines. So Jess, here you go. They're coming up with a solution, girl. They're trying to figure it out. That's actually good for everyone. I will stop being afraid to take a plane now. So I hope everybody could put their heads together. I hope they have someone who is ably different in a wheelchair on this little committee to help them brainstorm different ideas.
Exactly, because I've heard so many times that a passenger would go one place and then their wheelchair would go a completely different place.
Yeah.
You got a D-Stacks beat?
So our last story for the day, guys, is another feel-good story. I just love this one. So a non-for-profit in Dallas, Texas, teaches able-bodied children how to have empathy for disabled children. And it's really, really good because what they do is they give a simulation. So for example, to feel how it feels for a person who has Asperger's to have sensory processing issues, put able-bodied children in a plane. They had a baby crying, all the overhead noise from the plane, and then a flight attendant giving directions. And they asked the children, how does that feel? Some children said overwhelming. Other children said it was nerve-wracking. And then they had a teenager who has Asperger's come out and say, this is how I feel on a daily basis. And this is why when I go on planes, I wear headphones to drown out the noise. And they do this plenty of times with different scenarios. So for people who are deaf, for people who have CP, for people who have many different disabilities. But I think it's great for them to do this because we definitely do need our children to have more empathy. What do you think, Louis?
Yeah, I agree. My initial stance was they should be born with empathy. But now that I think about it, you have to be taught to be nice. So why not be taught to be empathetic?
Oh, no. He's playing it off. After we had a conversation about sympathy versus empathy, and I made a good, valid point. Children come as a blank slate, so they have to be taught many things. And that sympathy is different from empathy.
But my thing is, I know it's not possible, but you should be born to be empathetic. Like, that should already be in your DNA.
I guess we would like it to be, but that's definitely not how the world works. And again, for me, sympathy and empathy is two different things. Sympathy is all about, like, do I feel bad for another person? Empathy is about having the ability to walk in somebody's shoes and understand what that walk is like. That is a totally different concept that even adults don't grasp, right?
Yep, I agree.
It's amazing that they're doing this for children because when you think about it, our nieces, our nephews kind of have that empathy in them because we are around them. So they're never gonna feel ashamed about going up to someone who is ably different and saying, hey, how are you? Right?
Yeah.
Because they lived with us. They know what it's like. They know that even though we may have these challenges, we're quote unquote normal. Right? So they're never gonna have an issue with that. But a child who's never grew up with that may have an issue. But if they're taught that earlier on in the beginning, they're not going to have a problem at all. So I think it's absolutely, absolutely necessary. And we need to have this in more places than just Dallas. It needs to be all over the world, if you ask me.
Everywhere.
And we definitely need it in today's society. So shout out to the non-for-profit called To Be Like Me. I think you guys are doing a great, great job. It is amazing. Please keep up doing the work you are doing because it is very much needed. And the world today.
Yes, that initiative definitely needs to expand all over the world, especially teaching kids at a young age. That way, when they get older and they see someone with a disability, they could just approach them as a regular person.
Definitely.
You got a D-Stacks beat? D-Stacks beat? D-Stacks beat?
So guys, you know I always like to close it out with a quote of the episode. So Lewis, since you are my guest, give us a quote. Lay some good knowledge on us.
All right. So my quote is from the great Maya Angelou.
Yes, I miss her dearly. What's her quote?
The quote is, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
Yes! She was always dropping some gems on us.
Gems were just dropped.
I love that quote because this whole episode just embodies the whole thing of knowing better and doing better, right? And trying to change the world a little bit at a time.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to accommodating our needs in the disability community. Like Netflix, they are doing better. Six Flags, they are doing better. Airlines, they're working on getting better. So yeah, it just matches this whole episode.
It definitely does. And we all have to do a little bit more to get better and make sure that we're including everyone and not excluding anyone from society. So I challenge all of my listeners to do that, right? Make sure everyone is included and you're not leaving anyone out.
And all of the information in today's episode was courtesy of disabilityscoop.org and ada.gov.
So that's all we have for you today, folks. Thank you, Lewis, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be on. I hope you guys enjoyed listening.
Yes, it's always a pleasure when you come on. You know that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Please continue sharing, subscribing, running our numbers up. And like I've said before, I have a Patreon account where you can donate to Queens on the Road. Every little bit counts. There's so many different tiers up there for you to choose from. So just pick one. I greatly appreciate if you can support the show, because I am out here trying to make it a brand. But I love you guys anyway. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Instagram. And we are rolling out.
Subscribe, like, and share. Smash that like button.